show, this is my interpretation, you don't have to play it,
Very
is
Hamlet.
in cahoots.
To me, anything
There's a lot of cahooting going on in this. I'm noticing.
There
A lot of
it is.
cahooting.
That's what I
much
want.
cahooting.
Got it?
What are you eating, Virginia?
Yeah,
Yellow
Alrighty.
squash hair.
that's my background for this
Now
getting into play.
streaming live on
Was that-
YouTube.
If you don't get what that
My
folks is,
profound
Let me see.
apologies to John Peacock for putting you through such hell last week. For
Oh, where is John? Where is
are
John?
here. So if everybody who's here
I gotta
can
get my
just
script, man.
turn your video on so we can see you and get started. Jackie, is there anything you want to say before we get started?
Oh, yeah, where's John Peacock? Where's Kenneth? I haven't seen them yet.
They're-
Around?
I think everybody's here. I
Oh,
saw
okay.
John earlier. I think he just he's turned his video off at the moment.
Oh, okay.
I have. Thanks for the kind words, Paul.
what the hell happened to my Hamlet? Hold on.
All right. Well,
I thought I
think one of the
downloaded it.
things that I have
What?
a little bit of a disagreement with some people is I'm not a big fan of the virtual backgrounds. Let's just read the text and share it. And so this is the Instant Shakespeare Company. This is like we've been doing 20 years of reading all of Shakespeare's plays every year. And now in October, we're going to complete having read all of the plays on Zoom. And so I'm really very excited. Today, we're going to be doing Hamlet from the first folio edition. And we'll get started. What I'll do is I'll just sort of just name each of you, then you can just say what role your name and what role you're playing,
Hey,
and then
Mark,
stop
good
your
to see
video,
you.
mute yourself. And
But
then
you have
the
to say
idea
what
is
role
that
you're
you
playing. Come back.
just
Introduce
turn off
yourself.
your video when you're
Playing the
to
players.
mute yourself when there's other things going on, and to turn off your video when you're not in the scene, so that the people will just be seeing the people who are in the scene. And
I
I
gotta go.
leave that
One
for
second.
the actors to manage their entrances and exits. And without Jackie, unless there's anything else you want to say before we begin, I'll just start introducing people and let's dive
No,
in.
I have nothing to say.
All right.
I just want to thank everybody for being here. That's really kind of you.
There's more in the bag.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you all.
You're welcome.
All right.
Stop it.
So,
You just have to cut it now.
let's,
Just
and
cut
I
yourself
also
off
want to
now.
encourage people when
Turn
you
off
have
my radio. Hold on.
stuck at home to mute yourself. I mean, that's one of the things that you should just get comfortable with is muting and unmuting yourself. I sometimes, but it's good to be muted if there's going to be other sorts of sounds going on because the Zoom goes to where it is. And so now I'd like to, I'm Paul Sugarman. I'll be playing Laertes and reading the stage directions and covering for Miguel briefly as Horatio and Julie.
Yes. Hi, I'm Julie Kirshner. I'm playing Francisco and Fortinbras, double Fs.
Hello, I am Miguel Alejandro Fana, and I'll be playing Horatio until Paul does, but then I'll do it again.
Victoria.
Hi, I'm playing Lucianus, Ronaldo, Voldemort, and Jackie, it's the prologue and the play within the play, right?
Right.
And the
Right.
English ambassador. Have fun.
Okay. Right.
Thanks. I'm Alex Chilton. I'll be playing Hamlet.
Woo!
Yay!
Yay! Woo! Yes.
I'm
But,
Pamela Kale, and I'll be playing Ophelia.
Woo!
Yay!
I'm Bennett Pology. I'll be Claudius.
I'm Michael Gardner, and I'm playing Polonius and the Gravedigger.
It sounds
grade.
off.
Your
Fix it.
techno sounded very Polonius-y.
I'll kill you.
Hey, Virginia. Oh, you can't see because I got my virtual on, but I'll show you later.
Okay.
Virginia,
Mark Lynch.
What? Sorry.
No, I'm Mark Lynch. I'm gonna read Marcellus and the second Gravedigger / Clown.
Oh, cool costume. I'm Virginia Hammer, and I'm doing player, queen, sailor, messenger, and priest.
Jesus.
Great virtual background.
Ken Wayne, I'll be playing Rosencrantz.
I'm John L. Peacock. I'm Guildenstern.
Yes, you are.
I'm Marin Sugarman. My video is off, but it'll be on soon, and I'm playing Bernardo and Osric.
Hey, Marin.
All right.
I'm Earl Levine. I'll be
Yeah.
playing the ghost and the captain in 4/4 and reading stage directions.
Why do you need this?
Oh, I'm Jacqueline Margolis and I'm playing Gertrude. Is Anton around?
No, it does not. Oh, let's see. Is he?
Who's making that weird noise?
Not I.
He's here.
Anton just arrived.
You're here.
Anton is
Okay,
here.
thank you.
Yep, I just promoted him. All right. Okay.
My name is Anton Spivak, and I'll be playing first player.
Anton, did you get any more light on you somehow, Anton?
Okay.
All right. So, as I say, when you're not in the scene, please mute yourself and stop your video. And now I think everyone's been introduced, so we are ready to begin.
Oh, we forgot Mark. Mark Margolis is playing him. He's playing.
I can
I'm
speak.
sorry.
He can speak. Speak.
I'm Mark Margolis. I'm playing the player king.
Thank you. And so then without further ado, let us begin the tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. Actus primus, scena prima. Enter Bernardo and Francisco, two sentinels.
You'll be covering this second.
Who's there?
Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself.
Long live the king.
Bernardo,
He.
you come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco.
For this relief much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart.
Have you had a quiet guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
Enter Horatio and Marcellus.
I think I hear them. Stand! Who's there?
Friends to this ground.
And liegemen to the Dane.
Give you good night.
O farewell, honest soldier, who hath relieved you.
Bernardo has my place. Give you good night.
Exit Francisco.
Hola, Bernardo.
Ah, say what? Is Horatio there?
A piece of him.
Oh, welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What? Hath this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us. Therefore I have entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it.
Tush, tush. 'Twill not appear.
Sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story, what we 2 nights have seen.
Well, sit we down, and let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made his course to illumine that part of heaven where now it burns Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating 1.
Peace. Break thee of. Look where it comes again.
In the same figure, like the king that's dead.
Thou art a scholar. Speak to it, Horatio.
Looks it not like the king. Mark it, Horatio.
Most like. It harrows me forth with fear and wonder.
It would be spoke to.
Question it, Horatio.
What art thou that usurped this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form, in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak.
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Stay! Speak! Speak! I charge thee, speak!
'Tis gone, and will not answer.
How now, Horatio? You tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy? What think you on't?
Before my God, I might not believe, without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes.
Is it not like the king?
As thou art to thyself. Such was the very armor he had on, when the ambitious Norway combated. So frowned he once, when in angry parley he smote the sledded Pollux on the ice. 'Tis strange.
That's twice before. And just at this dread hour, with marginal stalk hath he gone by our watch.
In what particular thought to work, I know not. But in the gross and scope of my opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Good now. Sit down and tell me, he that knows, why this same strict and observant watch so nightly tolls the subject of the land, and why such daily cast a brazen cannon and forage mart for implements of wear? Why such impress of shipwrights whose sore tasks does not divide the Sunday from the week? What might be toward that this sweaty hask doth make the night joint a laborer with the day? Who is it that can inform me?
That can I. At least the whisper goes so. Our last king, whose image even now but appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, there to pricked on by the most emulate pride, dared to combat, in which our valiant Hamlet, for so this side of our known world esteemed him, did slay this Fortinbras, who by a sealed compact, well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit with his life all those his lands, which he stood seized on, to the conqueror, against the which a moiety competent was gauged by our king, which had returned to the inheritance of Fortinbras. He had bid vanquisher, as by the same convent and carriage of the article design, his fell to Hamlet. Now, sir, young Fortinbras, of unimproved metal, hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway, here and there, shart up a list of landless resolutes, for food and diet, to some enterprise that hath a stomach in't, which is no other, and it doth well appear unto our state. But to recover of us by strong hand, and terms of compulsative, those foresaid lands, so by his father lost, and this, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of this post-haste, and rummage in the land.
Enter Ghost again.
But soft, behold! Lo, where it comes again. I'll cross it, though it blast me. Stay, illusion! If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done, that may to thee do ease and grace to me, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh, speak! Or, if thou hast uphoarded in thy life extorted treasure in the womb of the earth, for which they say you spirits oft walk in death, speak of it! Stay and speak! Stop it, Marcellus!
Shall I strike it with my partisan?
Do, if it will not stand.
'Tis here!
'Tis here!
Ah, 'tis gone.
Exit Ghost.
Do it wrong, being so majestical. Offer it the shrewd violence. For it is as the air invulnerable, and our vain blows malicious Mockery.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
And then it started, like a guilty thing, upon a fearful summons. I have heard, the cock that is the trumpet to the day, doth with his lofty and shrill-sounding throat take the god of day, and at his warning, whether in sea, or fire, in earth, or air, the extravagant, the erring spirit hies to his confine. And of the truth herein, this present object made probation.
It faded on the crowing of the cock. Some says that ever against that season comes, wherein our Savior's birth is celebrated. The bird of dawning singeth all night long. And then, they say, no spirit can walk abroad. The nights are wholesome. Then no planets strike. No fiery talks, and no witch hath power to charm. So hallowed and so gracious is the time.
So I have heard, and do in part believe it. But look, the morn in russet mantle clad walks o'er the dew of yon high eastern hill. Break we our watch up, and by my advice let us impart what we have seen tonight to young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit dumb to us will speak to him. Do you consent we shall acquaint him with it, as needful of our loves, fitting our duty?
Let's do it, I pray. And I this morning know where we shall find him most conveniently.
Exeunt. Scena Secunda. Enter Claudius, King of Denmark, Gertrude the Queen, Hamlet, Polonius, Laertes, and his sister Ophelia, Lord's attendant.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe, yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress of this warlike state, have we, as 'twere, with a defeated joy, with one auspicious and one drooping eye, with mirth in funeral and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along, for all our thanks. Now follows that you know young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death our state to be disjoint and out of frame, colleagued with the dream of his advantage. He hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father with all bonds of law to our most valiant brother. So much for him.
Enter Voltimand and Cornelius.
Now, for ourself and for this time of meeting, thus much the business is. We here have writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who, impotent and bedrid, scarcely hears of this his nephew's purpose, to suppress his further gait herein. In that the levies, the lists, and full proportions are made out of his subject, and we here dispatch you, young Cornelius, and you, Voltimand, forbearing of this greeting to old Norway, giving to you no further personal power to business with the king, more than the scope of these dilated articles allow. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty.
In that and all things will we show our duty.
We doubted nothing. Heartily farewell.
Exit Voltimand and Cornelius.
And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is't, Laertes? You cannot speak of reason to the Dane and lose your voice. What wouldst thou beg, Laertes? That shall not be my offer, not thy asking. The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than is the throne of Denmark to thy father. What wouldst thou, Laertes? What wouldst thou have, Laertes?
Dread my lord, your leave and favor to return to France, from whence, though willingly, I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now I must confess, my duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again toward France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius?
He hath, my lord. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes, time be thine, and thy best graces spend it at thy will. And now, my cousin Hamlet, and my son.
A little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I'm too much of the sun.
Oh, good Hamlet, cast thy knightly color off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam? Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor the windy suspiration of forced breath, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected behavior of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have that within which passeth show, these but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these morning duties to your father, but you must know, your father lost a father. That father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow, but to persever in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, an understanding simple and unschooled. For what we know must be, and is as common as any the most vulgar thing to sense, why should we, in our peevish opposition, take it to heart? Fie, 'tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common theme is death of fathers, and who still hath cried from the first course till he hath that died today, this must be so. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart to you. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheerful comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I prithee stay with us, go not to Wittenberg.
I shall, in all my best, obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart, in grace whereof no jocund health that Denmark drinks today, but the great cannon to the clouds shall tell, and the kings rouse, the heavens shall bruit again, re-speaking earthly thunder. Come, away.
Exeunt, Manet, Hamlet.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh, God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seems to me all the uses of this world. Fie on't! Ah, fie! 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely, that it should come to this. But 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion, to a satyr. So loving to my mother, that he might not beteen the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth must I remember? Why? She would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on. And yet within a month, let me not think on't. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month. Whatever those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body, like Niobe, all tears. She, even she, oh God, a beast that wants discourse of reason would have mourned longer. Married with mine uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules, within a month. Yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing of her galled eyes. She married. Oh, most wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Enter Horatio, Bernardo, and Marcellus.
Hail to your lordship!
I'm glad to see thee well, Horatio. Oh, I did forget myself.
The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
Sir, my good friend. I'll change that name with you. And what make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus.
My good lord.
I'm very glad to see you. Good even, sir. But what in faith make you from Wittenberg?
Truant disposition. Good, my lord.
I would not hear your enemies say so, nor shall you do mine ear that violence to make it truster of your own report against yourself. I know you are no truant. But what is your affair in Elsinore? We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
Prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio, the funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I'd met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever I'd seen that day. Horatio, my father, methinks I see my father.
Oh? Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw? Who?
My lord, the king, your father.
The king, my father?
Season your admiration for a while with an attent ear, till I may deliver upon the witness of these gentlemen this marvel to you.
For heaven's love, let me hear.
2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch, in the dead wast and middle of the night, been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at points exactly, cap a pay, appears before them, and with solemn march goes slow and stately. By them thrice he walked. By their oppressed and fear surprised eyes within his truncheon's length, whilst they bestilled almost to jelly with the act of fear. Stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me in dreadful secrecy impart they did, and I with them the 3rd night kept the watch. Whereas they had delivered both in time form of the thing, each word made true and good, the apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
But where was this?
My lord.
My lord, upon the platform where we watched.
Did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did. But answer made it none. Yet once, methought, it lifted up its head, and did address itself to motion, like as it would speak. But even then, the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrunk in haste away, and vanished from our sight.
'Tis very strange.
As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true. And we did think it writ down in our duty to let you know of it.
Indeed, sirs. But this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight.
We do, my lord.
Armed, say you?
Armed, my lord.
From top to toe?
My lord, from head to foot.
My lord, from head to toe.
Oh, yes, my lord. He wore his beaver up.
What, looked he frowningly?
Countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
Pale or red?
Nay, very pale.
And fixed his eyes upon you?
Most constantly.
I would I'd been there.
It would have much amazed you.
Very like, very like. Stayed it long?
While one with moderate haste might call 100.
Longer.
Longer, longer.
Not when I saw it.
His beard was grizzled, no?
It was, as I have seen it in his life, a sable silvered.
I'll watch tonight. Perchance 'twill walk again.
I warrant you, it will.
If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it, though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be treble in your silence still. And whatsoever else shall hap tonight, give it an understanding, but no tongue. I will requite your loves. So, fare you well. Upon the platform twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty to your honor.
Your loves is mine to you. Farewell. My father's spirit, in arms. All is not well. I doubt some foul play. Would the night were come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise. Will the earth o'erwhelm them to men's eyes.
Exit Scena Tertia, enter Laertes and Ophelia. My necessaries are embarked. Farewell, and sister, as the winds give benefit and convoy as assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
Well, for Hamlet and the trifling of his favors, hold it of fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of primy nature, froward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the suppliance of a minute, no more.
No more, but so.
Well, think it no more. For nature cessant does not grow alone in hues and bulk, but as his temple waxes, the inward service of the mind and soul grows wide withal. Perhaps he loves you now, and now no soil nor cauchel doth besmirch the virtue of his fear, but you must fear. His greatness weighed, his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself. On his choice depends the sanctity and health of the whole state, and therefore must his choice be circumscribed unto the voice and heading yielding of that body whereof he is the head. Then if he says he loves you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it, as he in his peculiar sect and force may give his saying deed, which is no further than the main voice of Denmark goes withal. Then weigh what loss your honor may sustain if with too crean ear you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sister, and keep within the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire. The chariot maid is prodigal enough if she unmask her beauty to the moon. Virtue itself scapes not calumnious strokes. The canker galls, the infants of the springs too oft before the buttons be disclosed, and in the morn and liquid dew of youth, contagious blasphements are most imminent. Be wary then, base safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near.
I shall to the effect of this good lesson keep, as watchman to my heart. But good my brother, do not as soon ungracious pastures do, shew me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whilst like a puff and reckless libertine himself, the primrose path of Dalens treads, and reeks not his own reed.
Oh, fear me not. Enter Polonius. I stay too long, but here my father comes. Occasion smiles upon a second leave.
Yet here, Laertes, aboard, for shame. For shame, the wind sits in the shoulder of your sail and you are stayed for. There, my blessing with you, and these few precepts in the memory. See thou character, give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. The friends thou hast and their adoption tried, grapple them to thy soul with hoops of steel. But do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each unhatched, unfledged comrade. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but being in, bear it that the opposed may beware of thee. Give every man thine ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censor, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy. Rich, not gaudy. For the apparel oft proclaims the man, and they in France of the best rank and station are of most select and generous, chief in that. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both self and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true. And it must follow as the night and day, thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell, my blessing season in thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
The time invites you, go, your servants tend.
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locket. And you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
What is it, Ophelia, he has said to you?
So please you. Something touching the Lord Hamlet.
Marry, well bethought. 'Tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you, and you yourself have of your audience been most free and bounteous. If it be so, as so 'tis put on me, and in that way of caution, I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly as it behooves my daughter and your honor. What is between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affections to me.
Affection? Puff. You speak like a green girl, unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord. What should I think?
And Mary, I'll teach you. Think yourself a baby. That you have taken his tenders for true pay, which are not starling. Tender yourself more dearly, or not crack the wind of the poor phrase, roaming it thus, you'll tender me a fool.
My lord, he has imputed me with love in honorable fashion.
Fashion, you may call it. Go to.
And hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with all vows of heaven.
Springs to catch woodcocks. I do know when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul gives the tongue vows. These blazes, daughter, giving more light than heat, extinct in both, even in their promise that it is making, you must not take for fire. For this time, daughter, be somewhat scanter of your maiden presence. Set your entreatments at a higher rate than a command to parley. For Lord Hamlet believes so much in him that he is young, and with a larger tether may he walk than may be given you. If you, Ophelia, do not believe his vows, for they are brokers, and out of the eye which their investments show, but mere implorators of unholy suits, breathing like sanctified and pious bonds, the better to beguile. This for all, I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you so slander any moment leisure as to give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you. Come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
Exeunt. Enter Hamlet, Horatio, Marcellus.
The air bites shrewdly. It is very cold.
It is a nipping and an eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
Oh, it is struck.
Indeed, I heard it not. Well, then it draws near the season wherein the spirit held his wont to walk. What does this mean, my lord?
The king doth wake tonight and takes his rouse, keeps wassels in the swaggering upspring reels, and as he drains his draughts of Rhenish down, the kettle drum and trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his pledge.
Is it a custom?
Aye, marry is't. And to my mind, though I am native here and to the manor born, it is a custom more honored in the breach than the observance.
Enter Ghost. Look, my lord, it comes.
Angels and ministers of grace, defend us. Be thou a spirit of health, or goblin damned. Bring with thee airs from heaven, or blast from hell, be thy intent wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, King, Father, Royal Dane, oh answer me. Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, hearsed in death, have burst their cerements. Why the sepulchre, wherein we saw thee quietly inured, hath oped its ponderous and marble jaws to cast thee up again? What may this mean, that thou, dead corse, again in complete steel, revisitest thus the glimpses of the moon, making night hideous, and we, fools of nature, so horridly to shake our disposition with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls? Say, why is this? Wherefore? What should we do?
Ghost beckons Hamlet. It beckons you to go away with it, as if some impartment did desire to you alone.
Look, what courteous action it wafts you to a more removed ground. Would you not go with it?
No, by no means.
It will not speak, then I will follow it.
Do not, my lord.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life at a pin's fee. And for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? It waves me forth again. I'll follow it.
What if it tempt you toward the flood, my lord, or the dreadful summit of the cliff, and beetles o'er his base into the sea, and there assume some horrible form which might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness? Think of it.
It waves me still. Go on, I'll follow thee.
You shall not go, my lord.
Hold off your hand.
Be ruled, you shall not go.
My fate cries out, and makes each petty artery in this body as hardy as the Nemean lion's nerve. Still am I called. Unhand me, gentlemen. By heaven, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me. I say, away. Go on. I'll follow thee.
Exeunt ghosted Hamlet. He waxes desperate with imagination.
Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him.
Have after. To what issue will this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, let's follow him.
Exeunt. Enter Ghost and Hamlet.
Where wilt thou lead me? Speak. I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast in fears, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house, I could a tale unfold, whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres, thy knotty and combined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand unnamed, like quills upon the fretful porpentine. But this eternal blazon must not be to ears of flesh and blood. List, Hamlet, oh, list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love.
Oh, heaven.
Her revenge is foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder, most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee apt, and duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that rots itself in ease. Oh, lithe dwarf! Wouldst thou not stir in this now, Hamlet? Here, it's given out that sleeping in mine orchard, a serpent stung me so the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But now know thou, noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul, mine uncle?
Why, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with the witchcraft of his wits, hath traitorous gifts, wicked wit, and gifts that have the power so to seduce one to this shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. O Hamlet, what a falling off was there from me, whose love was of that dignity that it went hand in hand, even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But virtue as it never will be moved, though lewdness court it in a shape of heaven so lust, though to a radiant angel linked, I will sate itself in a celestial bed, and prey on garbage, but soft methinks I scent the morning's air. Brief let me be, sleeping within mine orchard, my custom always in the afternoon. Upon my secure hour thy uncle stole with choice of cursed Lebanon in a vial, and in the porches of mine ears did pour the leprous distilment whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a certain vigor it doth persist and curd like agar droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine, and a most instant tatter baked about, most laser-like with violent loathsome crust, all my smooth body. Thus was I sleeping by a brother's hand of life, of crown and queen, at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossom of my sin, unhouselled, disappointed, unknelled. No reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible. Oh, horrible, most horrible. If thou hast nature in there, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest, but howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught, leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge, to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once, the glowworm shows the mutton be near and begins to pale his effectual fire. Adieu, adieu, Hamlet, remember me.
Exits.
Oh, you host of heaven. Oh, earth. What else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fire. Hold my heart. And you, my sinews grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee. Aye, thou poor ghost, whiles memory holds a seat in this distracted globe, remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all precious past that youth and observation copied there, and thy commandments all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven. Oh, most pernicious woman! Oh, villain, villain, smiling, damned villain! My tables, my tables. Meet it as I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word, it is adieu, adieu, remember me. I have sworn.
My lord.
My lord, my lord.
Lord. Enter Horatio and Marcellus.
Lord Hamlet.
Oh, heaven secure him.
So be it.
Hello, ho, ho, my lord.
Hello, ho, ho, boy, come, bird, come.
How is it, my noble lord?
What news, my lord?
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, well, good, my lord, tell it.
No, you'll reveal it.
Oh, not I, my lord, by heaven.
Nor I, my lord.
How say you then would heart of man once think it? But you'll be secret.
Aye.
Aye, by heaven, my lord.
There's ne'er a villain dwelling in old Denmark, but he's an errant knave.
There needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this.
By right, you are in the right. And so without more circumstance at all, I hold it fit that we shake hands and part. You as your business and desire shall point you, for every man hath business and desire, such as it is. And for mine own part, look you, I'll go pray.
These are but wild and hurling words, my lord.
I'm sorry they offend you. Heartily, yes, faith, heartily.
Well, there's no offense, my lord.
Yes, by St. Patrick, but there is, Horatio, and much offense too, touching this vision here. It is an honest ghost, that let me tell you, for your desire to know what is between us, or master it as you may. And now, good friends, as you are friends, soldiers and scholars, give me one poor request.
What is it, my lord? We will.
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord, we will not.
Nay, but swear it.
In faith, my lord, not I.
Nor I, my lord, in faith.
Upon my sword.
We are sworn, my lord, already.
Indeed. Upon my sword, indeed.
Swear!
Aha, boy. Say'st thou so? Art thou there, true penny? Come on. You hear this fellow in the cellarage consent to swear.
Propose the oath, my lord.
Never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword.
Swear!
Take it to beak, then we'll shift our ground. Come hither, gentlemen, and lay your hands again upon my sword. Never to speak of this that you have heard. Swear by my sword.
Swear.
Well said, old mole. Canst work of the ground so fast, worthy pioneer. Once more remove, good friends.
Oh, day and night, but this is wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than I dreamt of in your philosophy. But come, here as before, never so help you mercy, how strange or odd soe'er I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think it meet to put an antic disposition on, that you, at such time seeing me, never shall with arms encumbered thus or thus head shake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrase, as well we know, or we could and if we would, or if we list to speak, or there be and if they might, or any such ambiguous giving out to note you know aught of me, this not to do. So grace and mercy at your most need, help you swear.
Swear!
Rest, perturbed spirit. So, gentlemen, with all my love, I do commend me to you, and what so poor a man as Hamlet is, may do to express his love and friending to you, God willing, shall not lack. Let us go in together, and still your fingers and your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. O cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let's go together.
Exeunt. Actus secundus. Enter Polonius and Rinaldo.
Give him his money and these notes, Rinaldo.
I will, my lord.
You shall do marvels wisely, good Rinaldo. Before you visit him, you make inquiry of his behavior.
My lord, I did intend it.
Marry, well said, very well said. Look you, sir, inquire me first what danskers are in Paris, and how and who and what means and where they keep, what company and what expense, and finding by this encompassment and drift of question that they do know my son. come you more nearer than your particular demands will touch it. Take you as it were some distant knowledge of him. Thus I know his father and his friends, and impart him. Do you mark me, Ronaldo?
Aye, very well, my lord.
And impart him. But you may not say well. But if it be he, I mean, he's very wild, addicted, so-and-so, and there put on him what forgeries you please. Marry, none so rank as may dishonor him. Take heed of that. But sir, such wanton, wild, and usual slips as our companions noted are most known to youth and liberty.
As gaming, my lord?
Aye, or drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, drabbling, you may go so far.
My lord, that would dishonor him.
Faith, no, as you may season it in the change, you must not put another scandal on him that he is open to incontinency. No, that's not my meaning. But breathe his faults so quaintly that they may seem the taints of liberty, flash an outbreak of a fiery mind, savageness and unreclaimed blood of general assault.
But my good lord.
Wherefore should you do this?
Aye, my lord, I would know that.
Marry, sir, here's my drift, and I believe it is a fetch of warrant. You laying these slight sullies on my son is 'twere little thing soiled in the working. Mark you, your party in converse, him you sound, having ever seen in the predominant crimes the youth you breathe of guilty, be assured he closes with you in this consequence. Good sir, or so, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase in edition of Man and Country.
Very good, my lord.
And then, sir, does he this? He does. What was I about to say? I was about to say something. Where did I leave?
At closes at the consequence. At friend or so and gentleman.
It closes in the consequence. Yet I marry. He closes with you thus. I know the gentleman. I saw him yesterday or the other day or then and then with such and such. As you say, there he was, gaming. There overtook its rouse. There falling out at tennis. Or perchance I saw him enter such a house of sale, the illicit, a brothel, or so forth. See you now? Your bait of falsehood takes this cap of truth, and thus do we of wisdom and of reach, with windlass and with essays of bias, by indirections, find directions out. So by my former lecture and advice, shall you my son. You have me, have you not?
My lord, I have.
Goodbye you. Fare you well.
Good, my lord.
Observe his inclination in yourself.
I shall, my lord.
And let him play his music.
Well, my lord.
Exit. Enter Ophelia.
Yeah, well. And now, Ophelia, what's the matter?
Alas, my lord, I have been so frightened.
With what? In the name of heaven?
My lord, as I was sewing in my chamber, Lord Hamlet with his doublet all unbraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, unguarded and down, give to his ankle, pale as his skin, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous, and purport as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors, he comes before me.
Mad for thy love.
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist and held my hand. Then goes he to the length of his arm, and with the other hand, thus over his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face, and he would draw it. Long stand he so, at last, a little shaking of mine arm, and then thrice his head thus waving up and down, he raises a sigh and piteous profound. It did seem to shatter all of his buke and end his being. Then done, he lets go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes. For out a door he went without their help, and to the last bend their light on me.
Go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property fordoes itself and leads the will to desperate undertakings, as oft as any passion under heaven that does afflict our natures. I am sorry. Have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but did as you command. I did repel his letter and deny him access to me.
That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better speed and judgment I had not quoted him. I hear he did but trifle and meant to rack thee, but to shew my jealousy. It seems it is proper to our age to cast beyond ourselves in our opinions. It is common for the younger sort to lack discretion. Come, go we to the king. This must be known. We being close might move more grief to hide than hate to utter love.
Exeunt, Scena Secunda, enter King, Queen, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Cumalis.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we did long to see you, the need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something you have heard of Hamlet's transformation, so I call it, since not the exterior nor the inward man resembles that it was. What it should be, more than his father's death, that thus hath put him so much from the understanding of himself I cannot deem of. I entreat you both that being of so young days brought up with him, and since so neighbor to his youth and humor, that you vouchsafed your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companies to draw him onto pleasures and to gather so much as from occasions you may glean, that opened lies within our remedies.
Oh, good gentlemen, we have much talked of you, and sure I am two men there are not living to whom he more adheres. It will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while, for the supply and profit of our hope. Your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might by the sovereign power you have of us put your dread pleasures more into commands than to entreat.
We both obey and give up ourselves in full bent to lay our service freely at your feet to be commanded.
Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern.
Oh, thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz. And I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son. Go some of ye and bring the gentleman where Hamlet is.
Well, heavens make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Amen.
Enter Polonius.
The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, are joyfully returned.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? Assure you, my good liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God, one to my gracious king. And I do think, or else this brain of mine hunts not the trail of policy, so sure as I have used to do, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That I do long to hear.
Well, I will tell you as soon as I can tell you. Give first admittance to the ambassadors. My news shall be the news to that great feast.
Thyself do grace to them and bring them in. He tells me, my sweet queen, that he hath found the head and source of all your son's distemper.
Oh, I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death and our over hasty marriage.
Well, we shall sift him. Welcome, good friends. Say, Voltimand, what from our brother Norway?
Most fair return of greetings and desires. Upon our first, he sent out to suppress his nephew. Levies which to him appeared to be a preparation against the Polak. For better looked into, he truly found it was against your highnesses, where had grieved, and so his sickness, age, and impotence was falsely borne in hand. Sends out arrests on Fortinbras, which he in brief obeys. Receives rebuke from Norway, and in fine makes vow before his uncle never more to give the assay of arms against your majesty. Whereupon old Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 3,000 crowns, in annual fee, and his commission to employ these soldiers so levied as before against the Polak, with an untreaty herein further shown, that it might please you to quiet pass through your dominion for his enterprise of such regards of safety and allowance as therein are set down.
It likes us well, and at our more considered time we'll read, answer, and think upon this business. Meantime, we thank you for your well-took labor. Go to your rest. At night we'll feast together. Most welcome home.
Exit, Ambassador.
This business is very well ended. My liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night, night, and time, time, were nothing but to waste. Night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tedious the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad call I it, for to define true madness, what it is, but to be nothing else but mad. But let it go.
More matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he is mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity, and pity, 'tis true. A foolish figure, but farewell it, for I will use no art. Mad, let us grant him then. And now remains that we find out the cause of this effect. Or rather say I, the cause of this defect. For this effect effective comes by cause, thus it remains, and the remainder of thus. Perpend. I have a daughter, have while she is mine, who in her duty and obedience, mark, has given me this. Now, gather and surmise. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautiful Ophelia. This is an ill phrase, wild phrase. Beautified is a wild phrase. But you shall hear these in her excellent white bosom, these.
Oh, come this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while, I will be faithful. Doubt thou the stars of fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love, O dear Ophelia. I am ill at these numbers. I have not aught to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best. O most best, believe it, adieu. Thine evermore, most dear lady, while this machine is to him, Hamlet. This in obedience has my daughter showed me, and more above his soliciting as they fell out by times, by means and place all given to mine ear.
But how hath she received his love?
What do you think of me?
As a man, faithful and honorable.
Well, I would fain prove so, but what might you think? When I had seen this hot love on the wing as I perceived it, I must tell you that before my daughter told me what might you think, or my majesty, your queen here, I think, if I had played the desk or table book, or given my heart a winking, mute and dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight, what might you think? No, I went round to work, and my young mistress, thus I did bespeak, Lord Hamlet is a prince out of thy star that must not be. And then I precepts gave her that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens, which done, she took the fruits of my advice. And he repulsed, a short tale to make, fell into sadness, then into a fast, then to a watch, then into a weakness, then to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness where now he raves, and all we wail for.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be very likely.
Hath there been such a time, I'd fain know that I have positively said 'tis so when it proved otherwise?
Not that I know.
Take this from this. If this be otherwise, if circumstances lead me, I will find where truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the center.
How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together here in the lobby.
So he has indeed.
At such a time, I'll lose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind the arras there and mark the encounter. If he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant for a state and keep a farm and carters.
We will try it.
Oh, but look, where sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
Hey, I do beseech you, both go away. I'll board him presently. Give me leave. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God of mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent well. You're a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
Then I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord?
Aye, sir. To be honest as this world goes is to be one man picked out of 2,000.
That's very true, my lord.
For if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a god-kissing carrion, have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk i' the sun. Conception is a blessing, but not as your daughter may conceive. Friend, look to it.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter, yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He's far gone, far gone. And truly in my youth I suffered much extremity for love, very near this. I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord?
Words, words, words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
I mean the matter, you mean, my lord.
Slanders, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards, that their faces are wrinkled, their eyes purging thick amber and plum tree gum, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hams. All which, sir, though I most potently and powerfully believe, yet I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down, for you yourself, sir, should be as old as I am, if, like a crab, you could go backward.
Though this be madness, yet there is method in it. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
Into my grave?
Indeed, that is out of the air. Pregnant, sometimes his replies are. A happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not so prosperously be delivered of. I will leave him and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My honorable lord, I will most humbly take my leave of you.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I will more willingly part withal, except my life. Except my life. Except my life.
Fare you well, my lord.
These tedious old fools.
Enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
God save you, sir.
Mine honorable lord.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends? How dost thou, Guildenstern? Oh, Rosencrantz! Good lads, how do you both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy, and that we are not over happy. For fortune's cap, we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe?
Neither, my lord.
Then you live about her waist or in the middle of her favors?
Faith, her privates, we.
Ooh, in the secret parts of fortune. Ooh, most true, she is a strumpet. What's the news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Then is doomsday near. But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord?
Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world one?
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so, my lord.
Why, that is none to you, for there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison.
Why then your ambition makes it one? 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
Oh God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were it not that I have bad dreams.
Oh, which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substance of the ambition is merely the shadow of a dream.
A dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly, and I hold ambition of so airy and light a quality that it is but a shadow's shadow.
then are our beggars' bodies and our monarchs and outstretched heroes the beggars' shadows. Show me to the court, for by my faith I cannot reason.
We'll wait upon you.
No such matter, I will not sort you with the rest of my servants. For to speak to you like an honest man, I am most dreadfully attended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Beggar that I am even poor in thanks, but I thank you. And sure, dear friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Will you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
What shall we say, my lord?
Why, anything. But to the purpose, you were sent for. And there is a kind of confession in your looks, which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me. But let me conjure you, by the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more, dear, a better proposer could charge you withal, be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
Nay, that I have an eye for you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercise, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory, this excellent canopy, the air. Look you, this brave or hanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. Why, it appears no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No woman neither. Though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there was such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then, when I said man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We coated them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you service.
He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute of me. The adventurous knight shall use his foil and target. The lover shall not sigh gratis. The humorous man shall lend his part in peace. And the clown shall make those laugh whose lungs are tickled to the seer. And the lady shall say her mind freely, or the blank verse shall halt for it. What players are they?
Even those you were wont to take delight in, the tragedians of the city.
How chances did they travel? Their residence both in reputation and profit was better both ways.
I think their inhibition comes by the means of the late innovation.
Do they hold the same estimation they did when I was in the city? Are they still followed?
No, indeed they are not.
How comes it? Does it grow rusty?
Nay, their endeavour keeps in the wonted pace, but there is, sir, an area of children, little yazes, that cry out on the top of question and are most tyrannically clapped for it. These are now the fashion, and so be rattled the common stages, so they call them, that many wearing rapiers are afraid of goose quills and dare scarce come hither.
What, are they children? Who maintains them? How are they escorted? Will they pursue the quality no longer than they can sing? Will they not say after grow themselves to common players, as it is most like if their means are not better, their writers do them wrong, to make them exclaim against their own succession?
In faith, there has been much to do on both sides, and the nation holds it no sin to tar them on to controversy. There was for a while no money bid for argument unless the poet and the player went to cuffs in the question.
It's possible.
Oh, there has been much throwing about of brains.
Do the boys carry it away?
Aye, that they do, my lord. Hercules and his load too.
It is not so strange, for mine uncle is king of Denmark, and those that would make mouths at him while my father lived give 20, 40, and 100 ducats apiece for his picture in little. Splud, there is something in this more than natural if philosophy could find it out.
Flourish for the players.
Oh, there are the players, my lord.
Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands, come then. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony. Come, let me comply with you in this garb, lest my extent to the players, which I tell you must show fairly outward, should more appear like entertainment than yours. You are welcome, but my uncle, father, and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, dear lord?
I am but mad, north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Enter Polonius.
Well be with you, gentlemen.
Hark you, Guildenstern, and you too, at each era here, that great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling clouts.
He is the second time come to them, for they say an old man is twice a child.
Old prophecy. He comes to tell me of the players, mark it. You say right, so to Monday morning, 'twas so indeed.
My lord, I have news to tell you.
When Rossius was an actor in Rome?
The actors are come hither, my lord.
Buzz, buzz!
Upon mine honor.
Then came each actor on his ass.
The best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral, comical, historical, pastoral, tragical, historical, tragical, comical, historical, pastoral, scene indivisible, or poem unlimited. Seneca cannot be too heavy, nor Plautius too light, for the law of writ and the liberty. These are the only men.
Oh, Jephthah, judge of Israel, what a treasure hadst thou!
What a treasure had he, my lord?
Why, one fair daughter and no more, the which she loved passing well.
Still my daughter.
Am I not in the right, old Jephthah?
If you call me Jephthah, my lord, I have a daughter that I love passing well.
Nay, that follows not.
What follows then, my lord?
Why, as by lot, God wot, that, you know, it came to pass as most like it was. The first row of the Poems Chanson will show you more. For look you, where my abridgments come.
Enter 4 or 5 players.
You're welcome, masters. Welcome all. I am glad to see thee well. Oh, welcome, good friends. Oh, my old friend, thy face is valiant since I saw thee last. Comest thou to beard me in Denmark? What, my young lady and mistress? Byre lady, your ladyship is nearer heaven than when I saw you last by the altitude of a chopine. Pray God, your voice, like a piece of uncurrent gold, be not cracked within the ring. Masters, you're all welcome. We'll e'en toot like French falconers, fly at anything we see. We'll have a speech straight. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my lord?
I heard thee speak me a speech once, but it was never acted, or if it was, not above once, for the play I remembered pleased not the million, 'twas caviar to the general, but it was, as I received it, and others whose judgments in such matters cried at the top of mine, an excellent play, well digested in the scenes, set down with as much modesty as cunning. I remember one said there were no sallets in the lines to make the matter savory, nor no matter in the phrase that might indict the author of affectation, but called it an honest method. One speech in it I chiefly loved. 'Twas Aeneas' tale to Dido, and thereabout of it, especially where he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hyrcanian beast. It's not so. It begins with Pyrrhus. The rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the night resemble, when he lay couched in the ominous horse, hath now this dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal, head to foot, Now he is total gules, hardly tricked with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, baked and impasted with the parching that lends a tyrannous and damned light to their vile murders, roasted in wrath and fire, and thus o'ersized with coagulate gore, with eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pyrrhus, old grandsire Priam keeps.
For God, my lord, well spoken, with good accent and good discretion.
And anon he finds him, striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command, unequal match. Pyrrhus at Priam drives, enraged strikes wide, but with the whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unarmed father falls. Then senseless Ilium, seeming to feel his blow, with flaming top stooms to his base, and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of Reverend Priam, seemed ere to stick. So as a painted tyrant Pyrrhus stood, and like a newt thrall to his wit and matter, did nothing. But as you often see against some storm, a silence in the heavens, the rack stands still, the bold wind speechless, and the orb below is hush as death. Anon the dreadful thunder doth rend the region, so after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work, and never did the Cyclops' hammers fall on Mars his armors, forged for proof return, with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam. Out, out, thou strumpet fortune, all you gods, in general synod take away her power, break all the spokes and follies from her reel, and ball the knave down the hill of heaven, as low to the fiends.
This is too long.
It shall to the barbers with your beard. Prithee, say on. He's for a jig or a tale of bawdry, or he sleeps. Say on, come to Hecuba.
Play who? But who, oh who, has seen the ennobled queen?
The ennobled queen.
That's good. A noble queen is good.
Run barefoot up and down, threatening the flame with bison rheum, a clout about that head where late the diadem stood, and for a robe about her lank and all o'er-teamed loins, a blanket in the alarm of fear caught up. Who this had seen, with tongue and venom steeped, against fortune's state, would treason have pronounced? But if the gods themselves did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with a sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move him not at all, would have made melts the burdening eyes of heaven and passion in the gods.
Look you where he has not turned his color and has tears in his eyes. Pray you no more.
'Tis well. I'll have thee speak out the rest soon. Good my lord, will you see these players well bestowed? Do you hear? Let them be well used, for they are the abstract and brief chronicles of the time. After your death, you were better have a bad epitaph than their ill report while you lived.
My lord, I will use them accordingly to their desert.
God's bodykins mind much better. Use every man after his desert, and who should escape whipping? Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in.
Come, sirs.
Follow him, friends. We'll hear a play tomorrow. Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play The Murder of Gonzago?
Aye, my lord.
We'll hat tomorrow night. You could, for need, study a speech of some 12 or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert in, could you not?
Aye, my lord.
Very well. Follow that lord, and look you, mock him not. My good friends, I'll leave you till night. You are welcome to Elsinore.
Good my lord.
Exeunt, Mene Hamlet.
I so God by. Now I'm alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit, that from her workings all his visage warmed, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function shooting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing, for Hecuba. What Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage in tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant and amaze indeed the very faculty of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy metal rascal, peaked like John a dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life the damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain? Breaks my pate across, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie, the throat as deep as to the lungs. Who does me this, huh? Soons, I should take it, but it cannot be, for I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter. Or this I should have fatted all the region kites with this slave's awful. Bloody body villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain. Oh, vengeance! Why, what an ass am I? This is most brave, that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must like a whore unpack my heart with words and fall cursing like a very drab as scullion. Fine part. About my brains. I've heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have by the very cunning of the scene been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it hath no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tempt him to the quick. If he but blench, I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be the devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. Yea, and perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
Exit. Enter King, Queen, Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and lords.
And can you by no drift of circumstance get from him why he puts on this confusion, grating so heartily all his days of quiet with turbulent and dangerous lunacy?
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak.
Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof, when we would bring him to some confession of his true state.
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman.
But with much forcing of his disposition.
Negative question, but of our demands most free in his reply.
Did you essay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain pairs we o'erwrought on the way. Of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are about the court, and as I think they have already ordered this night to play before him.
'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge and drive his purpose on to these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may there affront Ophelia, her father and myself, lawful as spiles, which will so bestow ourselves that, seeing unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by him, as he is behaved, if be the affliction of his love or no, that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, so please ye, we will bestow ourselves. Read on this book that shows if such an exercise may color your loneliness. We are oft to blame in this. 'Tis too much proved that with devotion's visage and pious action, we do surge over the devil himself.
True. But a smarter lash that speech doth give my conscience. The harlot's cheek beautied with plastering art is not more ugly to the thing that helps it than is my deed to my most painted word. Oh, heavy burden.
I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
Exeunt. Enter Hamlet.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, to sleep. The chance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. Who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of disprized love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin. Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death? The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sickled o'er by the pale cast of thought. And enterprise is a great pitch and moment. In this regard, their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Softly now. Fair Ophelia, nymph, in thy horizons be all my sins remembered.
Good, my lord. How does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My lord,
Well.
I have remembrance of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I. I never gave you aught.
My honor, Lord, I know right well you did. And with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich than perfume left. Take these again, and for the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have been commerce than your honesty?
Aye, truly, for the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord. You made me believe so.
You should not have believed me, for virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent, honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it would be better my mother had not borne me. I'm very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do? Crawling between earth and heaven. We are arrant knaves all. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Oh, help him, you sweet heavens.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Go, farewell. Or if thou wilt needs marry, marry a fool. For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, go, and quickly too. Farewell.
Oh, what a noble mind is here. O'erthrown the courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword. The enchantasy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and mold of form. The absurd of all absurd, quite down. Have I of ladies most dejected and wretched, sucked the honey of music vows. Now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled out of tune and harsh, that unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, that have seen what I have seen. See what I see.
Enter King and Polonius.
Love? His affections do not that way tend, nor what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There is something in his soul o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger, which to prevent, I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England for the demand of our neglected tribute. Haply the season, countries different with variable objects, shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brains, still beating, puts him thus from fashion of himself. What think you want?
It shall do well. Yet I do believe the origin and commencement of this grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please, but if you hold it fit, after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his griefs. Let her be round with him, and I'll be so placed, so please you in the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, to England send him, confine him where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Exeunt. Enter Hamlet and 2 or 3 of the players.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of our players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. No, do not soar the air too much with your hand thus, but use all gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and, as I may say, the whirlwind of passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. It offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who for the most part are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for o'erdoing termagant, and out Herod's Herod. Pray you, avoid it.
I warrant, your honor.
Be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special observance that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature, for anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end both at the first and now was and is to hold as 'twere the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time, his form and pressure. Now, this overdone, or come tardy off, though it make the unskillful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve, the censure of which one must, in your allowance, outweigh a whole theatre of others. Oh, there be players that I have seen play, and heard others praise, and that highly, not to speak profanely, but having neither the accent of Christians, nor the gait of Christian, pagan, nor man, have so strutted and bellowed, that I thought some of nature's journeymen had made men, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably.
I hope we have reformed that indifferently with us, sir.
Oh, reform it, altogether! And let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. For the be of them, that will themselves laugh to set on some quantity of barren spectators to laugh too. But in the meantime, some action of the play is then to be considered. That's villainous, and shows a most pitiful ambition in the fool who uses it. Go, make you ready.
Exit players. Enter Polonius, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern.
How now, my lord, will the king hear this piece of work?
The queen too, and that presently.
Bid the players make haste. Will you two help to hasten them?
We will, my lord.
Exeunt.
Oh, Horatio!
Here, sweet lord, at your service.
Horatio! Thou art e'en as just a man as ere my conversation coped withal.
Oh, my dear lord.
Nay, do not think I flatter. For what advancement may I hope from thee? That no revenue hast, but thy good spirits to feed and clothe thee. Why should the poor be flattered? No. Let the candied tongue lick absurd pomp, and crook the pregnant hinges of the knee, where thrift may follow fame. Dost thou hear? Since my dear soul was mistress of her choice, and could of men distinguish, her election hath sealed thee for herself. For thou hast been as one in suffering all that suffers nothing, a man that fortune's buffets and rewards have ta'en with equal thanks, and blessed are those that they are not a piped, and blessed are those whose blood and judgment are so well commingled that they are not a pipe for fortune's finger to sound what stop she please. Give me that man. That is not passion's slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core. Aye, in my heart of heart as I do thee. Now, something too much of this. Something too much. There is a play. There's a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest that act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe mine uncle. If his occulted guilt do not itself unkennel in one speech, it is a damned ghost that we have seen. And my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stithy. Give him heedful note, for I mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if he steal aught the whilst this play is playing, and scape detecting, I will pay the theft.
Enter King, Queen, Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and other lords attendant with his guard carrying torches. Danish march, sound off flourish.
They're coming to the play. I must be idle. To a place.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Excellent. The faith of the chameleon's dish. I eat the air, promise crammed. You cannot feed capons so.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
No, nor mine. Now, my lord, you played once at the university, you say?
That I did, my lord, and was accounted a good actor.
And what did you enact?
I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
It was a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Be the players ready?
Aye, my lord, they stay upon your patience.
Come hither, my good Hamlet, sit by me.
No, good mother. Here's metal more attractive.
Oh, do you mark that?
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
Ophelia's muted.
No, my lord.
I mean my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Do you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
That's a fair thought, to lie between maids' legs.
What is my lord?
Nothing.
You are merry, my lord.
Who, I?
Aye, my lord.
Oh, God! You're only jig maker. What should a man do but be merry? For look you how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis 2 months, my lord.
So long. Nay then, let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sables. Oh, heavens, died 2 months ago, and not forgotten yet? Well, then there's a hope. A great man's memory may outlive his life half a year. But by Our Lady, he must build churches then, or else he shall suffer, not thinking on with the hobby horse, whose epitaph is for oh, the hobby horse is forgot.
Cowboys plays, the dumb show enters. Enter a king and queen very lovingly. The queen embracing him, she kneels and makes show of protestation unto him. He takes her up and declines his head upon her neck, lays him down upon a bank of flowers. She, seeing him asleep, leaves him. Anon comes in a fellow, takes off his crown, kisses it, and pours poison in the king's ears and exits. The queen returns, finds the king dead, and makes passionate action. The poisoner with some 2 or 3 mutes comes in again, seeming to lament with her. The dead body is carried away. The poisoner woos the queen with gifts, so she seems loath and unwilling a while, but in the end accepts his love. Exeunt.
What means this, my lord?
This is Mitching Malico. That means mischief.
Belike this shrew imports the argument of the play.
We shall know by these fellows. The players cannot keep counsel. They'll tell all.
Will they tell us what this show meant?
Aye, we're sure that you'll show him. Be not you ashamed to show, he'll not shame to tell you what it means.
You are not. You are not. I'll mark the play.
Enter prologue.
For us and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Is this a prologue or the posy of a ring?
'Tis brief, my lord.
As woman's love.
Enter king and his queen.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus caught gone round Neptune's salt wash, and Tellus orbit round, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen about the world have times 12 30s been, since love our hearts and Hymen did our hands unite commutual in most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count o'er ere love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state, that I distrust you. Yet though I distrust, discomfort you, my lord, it nothing must. For women's fear and love hold quantity in I neither ought or in extremity. Now what my love is, proof hath made you know, and as my love is sized, my fear is so.
Faith,
Where love is great, the littlest doubts are fear. Where little fears grow great, great love grows there.
faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers, my functions leave to do. And thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and happily one as kind for husband shalt thou.
Oh, confound the rest. Such love must needs be treason in my breast. In second husband, let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first.
Wormwood, wormwood.
The instants that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine oft we break. Purpose is but the slave to memory, a violent birth, but poor validity, which now, like fruit unripe, sticks on the tree, but fall unshaken when they mellow be. Most necessary 'tis that we forget to pay ourselves what to ourselves is debt, what to ourselves in passion we propose, the passion ending, doth the purpose lose. The violence of other grief or joy, their own enactors with themselves destroy. Where joy most revels, grief doth most lament. Grief joys, joy grieves on slender accident. This world is not for aye, nor 'tis not strange that even our loves should with our fortunes change. For 'tis a question left us yet to prove whether love lead fortune or else fortune love. The great man down you mark his favorite flies. The poor advanced makes friends of enemies, and hitherto doth love on fortune tend. For who not needs shall never lack a friend, and who in one to hollow friend doth try, directly seasons him his enemy. But orderly to end where I begun, our wiles and fates do so contrary run that our devices still are overthrown. Our thoughts are ours, their ends none of our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to me give food, nor heaven light, sport and repose lock from me day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope, and anchor's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy meet what I would have well, and it destroy. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife, if once a widow, ere ever I be wife.
If she should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while, my spirits grow dull and fain. And my spirits grow dull and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep rock thy brain.
Please.
Never come mischance between us twain.
Exit.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it?
No, no, they do but jest. Poison in jest, no offense to the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. Mary Howe, tropically. This play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzaga was the Duke's name, his wife Baptista. You shall see anon, 'tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your Majesty, and we that have free souls, it touches us not. Let the gold jade winch, our withers are unwrung.
Enter Lucianus.
This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You are a good chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love if I could see the puppets dallying.
You are keen, my lord. You are keen.
It would cost you a groaning to take off mine edge.
Still better and worse.
So you mistake your husbands. Begin, murderer. Pox, leave thy damnable faces and begin. Come, the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agreeing confederate season, else no creature seeing. Thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's ban thrice blasted, thrice infected, thy natural magic and dire property, unwholesome life, usurp immediately.
Pours the poison in his ears.
He poisons him in the garden for his estates. His name's Gonzago. The story is extant and written, choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
King rises.
What? Frighted with false fire?
How fares my lord?
Give over the play.
Lights! Away!
Lights, lights!
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 Mane, Hamlet, and Horatio.
Why let the strucken deer go weep, the heart on gold play? For some must watch, while some must sleep. So runs the world away. Would not this, sir, and a forest of feathers, if the rest of my fortunes turn Turk with me, with 2 provincial roses on my race shoes, get me a fellowship and a cry of players, sir?
Half a share.
A whole one I. For thou dost know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantled was of Jove himself, and now reigns here a very, very paycock.
You might have rimmed.
Oh, good. Horatio, I'll take the ghost's word for £1,000. Didst perceive?
Very well, my lord.
Upon the talk of the poisoning.
I did very well note him.
Enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Oh, come, some music. Come, the recorders. For the king like not the comedy, why then be like he likes it not, Purdy. Come, some music.
Yeah, my lord, vouchsafe me a word with you.
Sir, a whole history.
The king, sir.
Aye, sir, what of him?
Is in his retirement, marvelous distempered.
With drink, sir?
No, my lord, rather with choler.
Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to his doctor. For me to put him to his purgation would perhaps plunge him into far more choler.
Good, my lord, put your discourse into some frame and start not so widely with my affair.
I am tame, sir. Pronounce.
The queen, your mother, is most greatly afflicted of spirits, hath sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, good my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. But, sir, such answers as I can make, you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more. But to the matter, my mother, you say?
Then she says, your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother. But is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration?
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey. Were she 10 times our mother, have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
So I do still by these pickers and stealers.
Good my lord, what is your cause of distemper? You do freely bar the door of your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession?
The recorder, let me see. To withdraw with you, why do you go about to recover the wind of me as if you would drive me into a toil?
No.
Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you make it speak? Why do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me. God bless you, sir.
My lord, the king would speak with you and presently.
Do you see yonder cloud that's in almost the shape of a camel?
By the mess, and it's like a camel indeed.
Methinks it's like a weasel.
It's back like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
Very like a whale.
Then I will come to my mother by and by. They fool me to the top of my bent. I will come by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. 'Tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. Soft now, to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words am ever to be shent? To give them steels, never my soul consent.
Enter King Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness range. Therefore prepare you, I, your commission, will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you. The terms of our estate may not endure hazards so dangerous as doth hourly grow out of his lunacies.
We will ourselves provide. Most holy and religious fear it is to keep those many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
A single and peculiar life is bound with all the strength and armor of the mind to keep itself from annoyance, but much more that spirit upon whose spirit depends and rests the lives of many. The cease of majesty dies not alone, but like a gulf doth draw what's near it with it. It is a massy wheel fixed on the summit of the highest mount, to whose huge spokes 10,000 lesser things are morticed and adjoined, which, when it falls, each small annexment, a petty consequence attends the boisterous ruin. Never alone did the king sigh, but with a general groan.
Arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, for we will fetters put upon this fear, which now goes too free-footed.
We will haste us.
Haste.
My lord, he's going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras, I'll convey myself to hear the process. Our warrant shall tax him home. And as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that some more audience than the mother, since nature makes them partial, should overhear the speech of vantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear my lord. My offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it, a brother's murder. Pray, can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin, and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardon being down? Then I look up. My fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder? Cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder, my crown, mine own ambition, my queen. In the corrupted currents of this world, offence's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, aye, to give an evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state. Oh, bosom black as death. Oh, limed soul, that struggling to be free art more engaged. Well, help, angels, make essay! Thou, stubborn knees and heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Enter Hamlet.
Now might I do it, Pat. Now he's praying, and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven. And so am I revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that, I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven? Oh, this is higher in salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown as flush as May. And how his audit stands, who knows, save heaven? But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged? To take him in the purging of his soul, when he is fit in season for his passage? No. Up, sword, and know thou a more horrid hand. When he is drunk, asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that hath no relish of salvation in't, then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell, whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
Exit.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thought, never to heaven go.
Exit. Enter Queen and Polonius.
He will come straight. Look you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace has screened and stood between much heat in him. I'll silence me here. Pray you, be round with him.
Mother! Mother! Mother!
Fear me not, withdraw, I hear him coming.
Enter Hamlet.
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgotten me?
No, by the root, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come, and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass, where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help me! Help!
What? Ho!
Hona! A rat! Dead for a ducat!
Oh,
Dead!
no!
I'm slain!
Oh, me! What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this?
A bloody deed! Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady, 'twas my word. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool. Farewell. I took thee for thy betters. Take thy fortune. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. Leave wringing of your hands, peace, and sit you down, and let me wring your heart. For so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff. If, damned custom, have not raised it so that it is proof and bulwark against sense.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dicer's oaths. Oh, such a deed that from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, and sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face doth glow. This solidity and compound mass with trustful visages against the doom is thought sick at the act.
I mean, what hath that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here upon this picture and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars, to threaten or command, a station like the herald Mercury, new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill, a combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. This is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Ha! Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? What devil wast that thus hath cozened you at Hudman blind? Oh, shame! Where is thy blush? Oh, rebellious hell, if thou canst mutiny in a matron's bones to flaming youth, let virtue be as wax and melt in her own fire. Proclaim no shame when the compulsive ardor gives the charge, since frost itself as actively doth burn, and reason panders will.
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turnest mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and green spots as will not leave this skin.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, a cut purse of the empire and the rule, that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
Oh, no more.
King of spreads and patches, save me and hover on me with your wings, you heavenly gods. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he is mad.
Do you not come your tardy son to chide, that lapsed in time and passion? Let's go by the important actum of your dread command. Oh, say.
Ghost.
Ghost, you're muted. Please unmute and repeat. Go.
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest bodies strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is it with you, that you bend your eye on vacancy, and with their corporal eye do hold discourse? Forth at your eyes your spirits widely peep, and as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hair like life and excrement start up and stand on end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper sprinkle cool patience. Wherein do you look?
On him! On him! Look you, how he glares! His form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones would make them capable. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects. Then what I have to do will want true color, tears perchance for blood.
To who do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all, yet all that is I see.
Nor did you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Why, look you there. Look how it steals away, my father, in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes, even now out of the portal.
This is the very corner of your brain. This bodiless creation, ecstasy, is very cunning.
Ecstasy? My pulse is yours to temperately keep time, and makes his healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reword, which madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not a flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks. Will but skin and film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past. Avoid what is to come. And do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them rank. Forgive me this, my virtue, for in the fatness of these pursy times, virtue itself of vice must pardon beg, yea, curb and woe for leave to do him good.
Oh, Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and live the purer with the other half. Good night. But go not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue. If you have it not, refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence. The next more easy. Once more, good night. And when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. For this same Lord, I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So, again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins, and worse remains behind.
What shall I do?
Not this by no means that I bid you do. Let the blunt king tempt you again to bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him for a pair of reachy kisses, or paddling your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know, but who that's but a queen, fair, sober, wise, would from a paddock, from a bat, a jibe such dear concernings hide? Who would do so? No, in despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket from the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape to try conclusions, in the basket creep, and break your own neck down.
Be thus assured, if words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
I must to England, you know that.
Like I had forgot. 'Tis so concluded on.
This man should set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighbor room, mother. Good night. Indeed, this counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who was in life a foolish, prating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother.
Exit Hamlet, tugging in Polonius. Enter King.
There's matter in these sighs, these profound heaves you must translate. 'Tis fit we understand them. Where is your son?
Ah, my good lord, what I have seen tonight.
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
Mad as the seas and wind, when both contend which is the mightier. In his lawless fit behind the arras, hearing something stir, he whips his rapier out and cries, "A rat, a rat!" And in his brainish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. If it had been so with us, it had been so with us had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all, to you, yourself, to us, to everyone. Alas, how shall this bloody deed be answered? It will be laid to us, whose providence should have kept short, restrained, and out of haunt this mad young man. But so much was out love, we would not understand what was most fit, but like the owner of a foul disease, to keep it from divulging, lets it feed even on the pith of life. Where is he gone?
To draw apart the body he hath killed, over whom his very madness, like some ore among a mineral of metals base, shows itself pure. He weeps for what is done.
Oh, Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship him hence, and this vile deed we must with all our majesty and skill both countenance and excuse.
Enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Oh, Guildenstern, friends, both go join me with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet he hath dragged him. Go seek him out, speak there, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you hasten this.
Exit, gentlemen.
Come, Gertrude. We'll call upon our wisest friends to let them know both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. Oh, come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
Exeunt. Enter Hamlet.
Safely stowed.
Hamlet?
What noise? Who calls on Hamlet?
Enter
Oh, here they come.
Guildenstern.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust whereto 'tis kin.
Tell us where it is, that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not mine own, besides to be demanded of a sponge, what replication should be made by the son of the king.
Taking me for a sponge, my lord?
I, sir, that soaks up the countenance, his rewards, his authorities, but such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps them like an ape in the corner of his jaw, first mouth to be last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you and sponge. You shall be dry again.
I understand you not, my lord.
I'm glad of it. A knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear.
My lord, you must tell us where the body is and go with us to the king.
The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lord.
Of nothing. Bring me to him. Hide fucks and all after.
Exeunt. Enter King.
I have sent to seek him and to find the body. How dangerous is it that this man goes loose? Yet must not we put the strong law on him? He's loved of the distracted multitude, who like not in their judgment, but their eyes. And where 'tis so, the fender's scourge is weighed, but nearer the offense. To bear all smooth and even, this sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. Diseases desperate grown of by desperate appliance are relieved, or not at all.
Enter Rosencrantz.
How now? What hath befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
But where is he?
Without, my lord, guarded to know your pleasure.
Bring him before us.
O Guildenstern, bring in my lord.
Enter Hamlet and Guildenstern.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper, where?
Not where he eats. A certain convocation of worms are eaten at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures, else to fat us, and we fat ourselves from maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service to dishes, but to one table, that's the end.
What dost thou mean by this?
Nothing but to show you how a king may go a progress through the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven, send thither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place, yourself. But indeed, if you find him not, within this month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Go seek him there.
He will stay till you come.
Hamlet, this deed of thine, for thine especial safety, which we do tender as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore, prepare thyself. The bark is ready, and the wind at help, the associates tend, and everything at bent for England.
For England.
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So is it, if thou knewst our purposes.
I see a chariot that sees them. But come, for England, farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh. And so my mother. But come, for England.
Exit.
Follow him afoot. Tempt him with speed aboard. Delay it not. I'll have him hence tonight. Away, for everything is sealed and done that else leans on affairs. Pray you make haste. If my love thou hold'st at aught, as my great power thereof may give thee sense, since yet thy cicatrice looks raw and red after the Danish sword, and thy free awe pays homage to us, thou mayst not coldly set our sovereign process, which imports it full, by letters contrary to effect the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England, for like the hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me. Though I know 'tis done, howe'er my haps, my joys were ne'er begun.
Exit. Enter Fortinbras with an army.
Go, Captain. From me greet the Danish king. Tell him that by his license, Fortinbras claims the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom. You know the rendezvous. If that his majesty would aught with us, we shall express our duty in his eye and let him know so.
I will do it, my lord.
Go safely on.
Exit. Enter Queen and Horatio.
I will not speak with her.
She is importunate, indeed distract. Her mood will need to be pitied.
What would she have? What would she have?
She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks in the world, and hems and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshaped use of it doth move the hearers to collection. They aim at it, and botch the words upfit to their own thoughts, which, as her winks and nods and gestures yield them, indeed would make one think there would be thought, though nothing sure, yet much unhappily.
'Twere good she was spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds. Let her come in. To my sick soul, as sin's true nature is, each toy seems prologue to some greater miss, so full of artless jealousy's guilt, it spills itself in fearing to be split.
Enter Ophelia distracted.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
How know, Ophelia?
How should I your true love know from another one? By his cockle hat and staff, and his sandal shoon?
Alas, sweet lady, what imports this song?
Say you? Nay, pray you mock. He is dead and gone, lady, he is dead and gone. At his head a grass green turf, at his heels a stone.
Enter King.
Nay, but Ophelia.
Pray you mock. White his showed as the mountain snow.
Look here, my lord.
Lauded with sweet flowers, which be wept to grave, did not go with true love's showers.
How do you, pretty lady?
Well, God diddle you. They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we no means say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine. Do it if they come to it, but cock they too to blame. Quote she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. So would I had done by yonder sun, and thou hadst not come to my bed.
How long has she been this?
I hope all will be well. We must be patient, but I cannot choose by weep to think they should lay him in the cold ground. My brother should know of it. And so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night. Good night.
Follow her close. Give her good watch, I pray you. Oh, this is the poison of deep grief. It springs all from her father's death. Oh, Gertrude, Gertrude. When sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. First her father slain, next your son gone, and he, most violent author of his own just remove. The people muddied, thick and unwholesome in their thoughts and whispers for good Polonius' death, and we have done but greenly in hugger-mugger to inter him. Poor Ophelia, divided from herself and her fair judgment, without the which we are pictures or mere beasts. Last, and as much containing as all these, our brother is in secret come from France. Keeps on his wonder, keeps himself in clouds, and wants not buzzers to infect his ears with pestilent speeches of his father's death, wherein necessity of matter beggared will nothing stick our persons to arraign in ear and ear. Oh, my dear Gertrude, this, like to a murdering peace in many places, gives me superfluous death.
A noise within. Enter a messenger.
Alack, what noise is this?
Where are my Switzers? Let them guard the door. What's the matter?
Save yourself, my lord! The ocean, overpowering of his list, eats not the flats with more impetuous haste than young Laertes in a riotous head, or hears your officers, or bears your officers. The rabble call him lord. And as the world were now but to begin, antiquity forgot, custom not known, the ratifiers and props of every word, they cry, choose we, Laertes shall be king. Caps, hands, and tongues applauded to the clouds. Laertes shall be king, Laertes king.
How cheerfully on the false trial they cry. Oh, this is counter, you false Danish dogs.
No.
Laertes! Laertes!
Laertes.
Doors are broke.
Where is the king, sir? Stand you all without.
No, no, let's come in.
I pray you give me leave.
We will, we will.
I thank you. Keep the door. Oh, thou vile king, give me my father.
Calmly, good Laertes.
That drop of blood that calms proclaims me bastard, cries cuckold to my father, brands the harlot even here between the chaste, unsmirched brow of my true mother.
What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude. Do not fear our person. There is such divinity doth hedge a king that treason can but peep to what it would, acts little of his will. Tell me, Laertes, why art thou thus incensed? Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man.
Where's my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devil, conscience, and grace to the profoundest pit. My dear damnation, to this point I stand, that both the worlds I give to negligent. Let come what comes, only I'll be revenged most thoroughly for my father.
Who shall stay you?
My will, not all the world, and for my means I'll husband them so well, they shall go far with little.
Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your dear father's death, if writ in your revenge that sweepstake you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser.
None but his enemies.
Will you know them then?
To his good friends thus wild I'll ope my arms, and like the kind life-rendering politician, repast them with my blood.
Well, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman. That I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensible in grief for it, it shall as level to your judgment pierce as day does to your eye.
Let her come in! Let her come in!
Ophelia, how now? What noise is that? Oh, heat dry up my brains, tears 7 times salt burn out the sense and virtue of mine eye. By heaven, thy madness shall be paid by weight till our scale turns the beam. Oh, Rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia. Oh, heavens, is it possible a young maid's wit should be as mortal as an old man's life? Nature is fine in love, and where 'tis find, it sends some precious instance of itself after the thing it loves.
They bore him barefaced on the bier. Hey, nonny, nonny. Hey, nonny, and on his grave rains many a tear. Fare you well, my dove.
It's thou thy witst and didst persuade revenge. It could not move thus.
You must sing. Down a down, and you call him a down. Oh, how the wheel becomes it. It is the false steward that stole his master's daughter.
This nothing's more than matter.
There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray, love, remember, and there's pansies for their thoughts.
Document in madness, thoughts and remembrance is fitted.
There's fennel for you, and columbines. There's rue for you, and there's some for me. We may call it herb grace o' Sundays. Oh, we must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they've withered all when my father died, and say he may a good end. My bonny sweet robin is all my joy.
Thought and affliction, passion, hell itself, she turns to favor and to prettiness.
And will not come again, and will not come again. No, no, he's dead. Go to thy deathbed. He never will come again. His beard is white as snow. All flaxen was his poll. He is gone, and we cast away. Moan. Gramercy on his soul and all Christian souls, I pray God. God pray. Goodbye ye.
Exeunt Ophelia.
Do you see this, you gods?
Laertes, I must commune with your grief, or you deny me right. Go but apart, make choice of whom your wisest friends you will, and they shall hear and judge twixt you and me. If by direct or by collateral hand they find us touched, we will our kingdom give, our crown, our life, and all that we call ours to you in satisfaction. But if not, be you content to lend your patience to us, and we shall jointly labor with your soul to give it due content.
Let this be so. His means of death, his obscure burial, no trophy, sword, nor hatchment o'er his bones, nor noble right, nor formal ostentation cry to be heard as 'twere from heaven to earth that I must call in question.
So you shall. And where the fence is, let the great axe fall. I pray you, go with me.
Exeunt. Enter Horatio with attendant. What are they that would speak with me?
Sailors, sir, they say they have letters for you.
Oh, let them come in. I do not know for what part of the world I should be greeted, if not from Lord Hamlet.
Sailor.
What page? Oh, crap. God bless you, sir.
Let him bless thee, too.
I shall, sir, and please him. There's a letter for you, sir. It came from the ambassador that was bound for England. If your name be Horatio, as I am lent to know it is.
Horatio, when thou shalt have o'erlooked this, give these fellows some means to the king. They have letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate of very warlike appointment gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor. In the grapple I boarded them. On the instant they got clear of our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy, but they know what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much haste as thou wilt fly death. I have words to speak in your ear, will make thee dumb, yet are they much too light for the bore of matter. These good fellows will bring thee where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell. He that knowest thine, Hamlet. Come, I will give you way for these your letters, and do it the speedier that you may direct me to him from whom you brought them.
Exit. Enter King and Laertes.
Now must your conscience my acquittance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend, sith you have heard, and with a knowing ear, that he which hath your noble father slain pursued my life.
It well appears, but tell me why you proceeded not against these feats so criminal and so capital in nature, as by your safety, wisdom, all things else, you mainly were stirred up.
Oh, for 2 special reasons, which may to you perhaps seem much unsinewed, and yet to me they are strong. The queen, his mother, lives almost by his looks, and for myself, my virtue or my plague, be it either which, she's so conjunctive to my life and soul, that as the star moves not but in his sphere, I could not but by her. The other motive, why to a public count I might not go, is the great love the general gender bear him, who dipping all his faults in their affections, would like the spring that turneth wood to stone, convert his gyves to graces, so that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, would have reverted to my bow again, and not where I had armed them.
And so have I, a noble father, lost, a sister driven into desperate terms, who was, if praises may go back again, stood challenger on mount of all the age for her perfections. But my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeves for that. You must not think that we are made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our beard be shook with danger and think it pastime. You shortly shall hear more. I loved your father, and we love ourself, and that I hope to teach you to imagine.
Enter a messenger.
What
These,
news?
Your Majesty, this to the Queen.
From Hamlet? Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord, they say. I saw them not. They were given me by Claudio. He received them of him that brought them.
Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us.
Messenger.
High and mighty, you shall know that I am naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasions of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet. What should this mean? Are all the rest come back? Or is it some abuse or no such thing?
Know you the hand?
'Tis Hamlet's character, naked in a postscript he says alone. Can you advise me?
I'm lost in it, my lord, but let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou!
If it be so, Laertes, as how should it be so? How otherwise will you be ruled by me?
If so, you'll not o'errule me to a peace.
To thine own peace. If he be now returned as checking at his voyage, and that he means no more to undertake it, I will work him to an exploit now ripe in my device, under the which he shall not choose but fall, and for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, but even his mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident. Some 2 months hence there was a gentleman of Normandy. I've seen myself and served against the French, and they ran well on horseback, but this gallant had witchcraft in't. He grew into his seat, and to such wondrous doing brought his horse as he had been encorpsed, and demi-natured with the brave beast. So far he passed my thought that I in forgery of shapes and tricks came short of what he did.
A Norman wast?
A Norman.
Oh, upon my life, Lamond!
The very same.
Oh, I know him well. He is the brooch indeed, and gem of all our nation.
He mad confession of you, and gave you such a masterly report for art and exercise in your defense, and for your rapier most especially, that he cried out, 'Twould be a sight indeed if one could match you, sir. And this report of his did Hamlet so envenom with his envy, that he could nothing do but wish and beg your sudden coming o'er to play with him. Now out of this.
Why, out of this, my lord.
Laertes, was your father dear to you? Or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Not that I think you did not love your father, but that I know love is begun by time, and that I see in passages of proof time qualifies the spark and fire of it. Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself your father's son indeed, more than in words?
To cut his throat in the church!
No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. But, good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet returned, shall know that you are come home. We'll put on those, shall praise your excellence, and set a double varnish on the fame the Frenchman gave you, bring you in fine together, and wager on your head. He, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in passive practice requite him for your father.
I will do it. And for that purpose, I'll anoint my sword. I have bought an unction of a mountebank so mortal, I but dip a knife in it. Where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare, collected from all simples that have virtue under the moon, can save the thing from death. That is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point with that contagious, that if I gall him slightly, it may be his death.
Let's further think of this. Weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. If this should fail, and that our drift look through our bad performance, 'twere better not essay it, and therefore this project should have a back or second that might hold if this should blast in proof. Soft, let me see. We'll make a solemn wager on your comings, I hat. When in your motion you are hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to the end, and that he calls for drink, I'll have prepared for him a chalice for the nonce, whereupon but sipping, if he by chance escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there. How, sweet queen?
Enter queen.
One woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Oh, where?
There is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his whole leaves in the glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands did she come, of crow flowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples, that liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead man's fingers call them. There on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds clamoring to hang, an envious liver broke, when down the weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide and mermaid like, a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, till that her garments heavy with their drink pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, then, is she drowned?
Drowned.
Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. But yet it is our trick. Nature her custom holds. Let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the woman will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly doubts it.
Exit.
Let's follow Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now I fear this will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow.
Exeunt. Enter two clowns.
Is she to be buried in Christian burial that willfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is, and therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath state on her, and it finds a Christian burial.
How can that be, unless she drowned herself in her own defense?
Why? 'Tis found so.
Must be, saith Fendendo. It cannot be else, for here lies the point. If I drown myself willingly, it argues an act, and an act has three branches. It is an act to do and to perform. I go. She drowned herself willingly.
Nay, but here you, good man, deliver.
Give me leave. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man goes to the water and drowns himself, it is willy-nilly it goes. Mark you that? But if the water come to him and drown him, it drowns not himself. Argal, he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
Aye, now it is. Crown is quest law.
Will you have the truth on it? If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out of Christian burial.
Yeah, there thou sayest. And the more pity that great folks should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves more than even Christian. Come, my spade. There is no ancient gentleman but gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
It was the first that ever bore arms.
Why, he had none.
Art a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker, or that frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thy wit, well in good faith. The gallows does well, but how does it well? It does well to those that do ill. Now thou dost ill to the seed that say the gallows is built stronger than the church. I go, the gallows may do well to thee. Do it again, come on.
Who builds stronger than a mason? A shipwright or a carpenter?
Tell me that and unyoke.
Marry now, I can tell.
Do it.
Mace, I cannot tell.
Hamlet and ratio are far off.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it, for your dull ass will not mend his pace with beating. And when you are asked this next question, say, a grave maker. The house that he makes lasts till doomsday. Go, get to yarn, fetch me a stupid liquor. Oh! In youth, when I did love, methought it was very sweet To contract all the time for all behove, or methought there was nothing meet.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business that he sings at grave making?
Custom hath made it in him a property of easiness.
'Tis e'en so. The hand of little employment hath a daintier sense.
But age with his stealing steps hath caught me in his clutch, and has slipped me into the land, as if I never been such.
That skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once. How the knave jowls it to the ground as if it were Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. It might be the pate of a politician, which this ass now o'erreaches, or one that could circumvent God. Might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or of a courtier, which could say, Good morrow, sweet lord, how dost thou, good lord? This might be my lord such a one that praised my lord such a one's horse when he meant to beg it. Might it not?
Aye, my lord.
Why e'en so? Now my lady Worm is chapless and knocked about the mazard with a sexton's spade. Here's fine revolution, if we had the trick to see it. Did these bones cost no more the breeding, but to play at loggets with them? Mine ache to think on't.
A pickaxe and a spade for a shrouding sheet, or pit to clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
There's another. Why not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddits now? His quillets, his cases, his tenures and his tricks? Why does he suffer this rude knave now to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? Huh. This fellow might be in time a great buyer of land with his statutes, his recognizances, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries. Is this the fine of his fines and the recovery of his recoveries, to have his fine pate full of fine dirt? Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and double ones too, than the length and breadth of a pair of indentures? The very conveyances of his lands will hardly lie in this box, and must the inheritor himself have no more. Huh?
Not a jot more, my lord.
Is not parchment made of sheepskins?
Aye, my lord, and of calfskins too.
They are sheep and calves that seek out assurance in that. I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave's this, sirrah?
Mine, sir. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
I think it to be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
You lie out on it, sir, and therefore it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it, to be in't and say 'tis thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill again from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
No man, sir.
What woman, then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in't?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, these 3 years, I've taken note of it, the age is grown so picked that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heels of our courtier. He galls his kye. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days in the year, I came to it that the day our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Can now you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born. Ada was mad and sent him to England.
Ay, Mary, why was he sent to England?
Why? Because he was mad. He shall recover his wits there. Or if we do not, it's no great matter there.
Why?
Will not be seen in him. There the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, even with losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Here in Denmark. I've been 16 here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lie the earth ere he rot?
In faith, if he be not rotten before he die, as we have many pocket courses nowadays that will scarce hold the laying in, it will last you some 8 or 9 years. A tanner will last you 9 years.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir? His hide is so tanned with his trade that it will keep out water a great while. And your water is a sore decay of your horse and dead body. Yeah, here's a skull now. This skull has lain in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
Oh, some mad fellow 'twas. Who do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
Yeah, pestilence on him for a mad rogue. I bought a flagon of Rhenish on me head once. This same skull, sir. This same skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
This?
Even that.
Let me see.
Oh.
Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times. And now how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips which I have kissed, I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now? Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that will want to set the table on a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning. Quite chapfallen. Now, get you to my lady's chamber and tell her, let her paint an inch thick. To this favor she must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked at this fashion of the earth?
E'en so.
And smelt so.
E'en so, my lord.
To what base uses may we return, Horatio? Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole?
'Twere to consider, too curiously to consider so.
No, faith, not a jot, but to follow him thither with modesty enough, and likelihood to lead it, as thus. Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth into dust, the dust is earth, of earth we make loam, and why of that loam, whereto he was converted, might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperial Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that earth which kept the world in awe should patch a wall to expel the winter's flaw. But soft. Here, aside, here comes the king.
Enter King, Queen, Laertes, and a coffin with lords attendant.
The queen and the courtiers. Who is this they follow, and with such maimed rites? This doth betoken the course they follow, did with desperate hand, for do it own life. 'Twas some estate, couch we a while and mark.
What ceremony else?
That is Laertes, a very noble youth, mark.
What ceremony else?
Obsequies have been so far enlarged as we have warranty. Her death was doubtful, and but that great command o'ersways the order, she should in ground unsanctified been lodged, till the last trumpet. No charitable prayers, shards, flints, and pebbles should be thrown on her. Yet here she is allowed her virgin krantz, her maiden struments, and the bringing home of bell and burial.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We should profane the service of the dead to sing sage requiem and such rest to her as to peace-parted souls.
Lay her in the earth and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling.
What? The fair Ophelia?
Sweet to the sweet farewell. I hope thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet May, and not to have strewed thy grave.
Terrible lure, full 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while, till I have caught her once more in mine arms.
He slept in the grave.
Now pile your dust upon the quick and the dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made, to o'ertop old Pelion, or the skyish head of blue Olympus.
What is he whose griefs bears such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars, and makes them stand like wonder-wounded hearers? This is I, Hamlet the Dane.
The devil take thy soul!
Thou prayest not well. I prithee take thy fingers from my throat. Though I am not splenitive and rash, yet I have something in me dangerous, which let thy wiseness fear. Away thy hand!
Let them a thunder.
Hamlet, Hamlet!
Good my lord, be quiet.
Why, I will fight upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag.
Oh, my son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not with all their quantity of love make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
He is mad, Laertes.
For love of God, forbear him.
Come show me what thou'lt do. Would weep, would fight, would tear thyself, would drink up ile, eat a crocodile. I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I. And if thou prate of mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us, till our ground, singeing his pate against the burning zone, make ossa like a wart. Nay, and thou mouth, I'll rant as well as thou.
It is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him. Anon, as patient as the female dove, when that her golden couplet are disclosed, her silence will sit drooping.
Hear you, sir. What is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever, but 'tis no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and dog will have his day.
I pray you, good Horatio, wait upon him. Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then, in patience our proceeding be.
Exeunt. Enter Hamlet and Horatio.
So much for this, sir. Now, let me see the other. You do remember all the circumstance?
Remember it, my lord?
Stirred in my heart, there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. Methought I lay worse than the mutinies and the bilboes. Rashly, and praise be rashness for it, let us know our indiscretion sometimes serves us well, when our dear plots do pall, and that should teach us. There's a divinity that shapes our ends. Rough hew them how we will.
That is most certain.
Up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me in the dark, groped I to find out them, had my desire fingered their packet, and in fine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold my fears forgetting manners to unseal their grand commission, where I found, Horatio, a royal knavery, an exact command larded with many several sorts of reason, importing Denmark's health and England's too, with such bugs and goblins in my life, that on the supervised, no leisure baited, no not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off.
Is it possible?
Here's the commission. Read it at more leisure. But wilt thou hear how I did proceed?
I beseech you.
Being thus benetted round with villainies, ere I could make a prologue to my brains, they'd begun the play. I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. I once did hold it that our statists do, a baseness to write fair. and labored much how to forget that learning. But, sir, now, it did me yeoman service. Wilt thou know the effects of what I wrote?
Aye, good my lord.
An earnest conjuration from the king, as England was his faithful tributary, as love between them, as the palm should flourish, as peace should still her wheaten garland wear, and stand a comma between their amities, and many such like essays of great charge, that on the view and known of these contents, without debatement further, more or less, he should the bearers put to sudden death, not shriving time allowed.
How was this sealed?
Why, even in that was heaven ordinate. I had my father's signet in my purse, which was the model of that Danish seal, folded the writ up in form of the other, subscribed it, gave the impression, placed it safely, the changeling never known. Now, the next day was our sea fight, and what this was sequent thou knowst already.
So, Guildenstern and Rosencrantz, go to it.
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their debate doth by their own insinuation grow. 'Tis dangerous when the baser nature comes between the pass and fell insensate points of mighty opposites.
Why, what a king is this?
Does it not, thinkest thee, stand me now upon, he that hath killed my king and whored my mother, popped in between the election and my hopes, thrown out his angle for my proper life, and with such cozenage, it's not perfect conscience to quit him with this arm, and it's not to be damned to let this canker of our nature come in further evil.
It must be shortly known to him from England what is the issue of the business there.
It will be short, the interim's mine, and a man's life's no more than to say one. But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself. For by the image of my cause I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favors, but sure the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion.
Peace, who comes here?
Enter young Osric.
Your lordship is right. Welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Dost know this waterfly?
No, my good lord.
Thy state is more gracious, for 'tis a vice to know him. He hath much land, and fertile, let a beast be lord of beasts, and his crib shall stand at the king's mess. 'Tis a chough. But I, as I saw the spacious, as I say, spacious in the possession of dirt.
Sweet lord, if your friendship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will receive it with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to his right use, 'tis for the head.
Oh, I thank your lordship, but 'tis very hot.
No, believe me, 'tis very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
Oh, methinks it is very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly, my lord. It is very sultry. As 'twere, I cannot tell how, but my lord, his majesty has signified to you that he has laid a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter.
I beseech you, remember.
In good faith, for my niece is in good faith. Sir, you are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is at his weapon?
What's his weapon?
Oh, rapier and dagger.
That's two of his weapons, but well.
Sir, the king has waged with him 6 Barbary horses against the which he imponed, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards with their assigns as girdle hangers, or so 3 of carriages, in faith are very dear to fancy, very responsive to the hilt's most delicate carriages, and the very liberal conceit.
What call you the carriages?
Carriages, sir, are the hangers.
The phrase would be more germane to the matter if we could carry cannon by our sides. I would it might be hangers till then. But on, 6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords, their assigns, and 3 liberal conceited carriages. That's the French, but against the Danish. Why is this imponed, as you call it?
Oh, the king, sir, hath laid it in a dozen passes that he between you and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits, and he hath 112 for mind, and that would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
How if I answer no?
I mean, my lord, the opposition of your person in trial.
Sir, I will walk here in the hall, if it please his majesty. 'Tis the breathing time of day with me. Let the foils be brought, the gentleman willing, and the king hold his purpose. I will win for him if I can. If not, I'll gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits.
Shall I re-deliver you e'en so?
To this effect, sir, after what flourish your nature will.
I commend my duty to your lordship.
Yours. He does well to commend it, himself. There are no tongues else for his turn.
This lapwig runs away with the shell on his head.
He did comply with his dug before he sucked it. Thus, he and mine more of the same bevy that I know that draws the age dotes on, only got the tune of the time and the outward habit of encounter, a kind of yesty collection which carries them through and through the most fond and winnowed opinions, and do but blow them to their trials, the bubbles are out.
You will lose this wager, my lord.
I do not think so. Since he went to France, I have been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds. But dost thou wouldst not think how all hear about my heart, but 'tis no matter.
Nay, good my lord.
It is but foolery. But it is such a kind of gain-giving as would perhaps trouble a woman.
If your mind dislike anything, obey. I will forestall their repair hither, and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. A special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. Since no man knows aught of what he leaves, what is to leave betimes?
Enter King, Queen, Laertes, and lords, with other attendants, with foils and gauntlets, a table, and flagons of wine on it.
Come, Hamlet, come. Take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I've done you wrong, but pardon it as you are a gentleman. This presence knows, and you must needs have heard, how I am punished with sore distraction. What I have done that might your nature, honor, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Was Hamlet wronged, Laertes? Never Hamlet. If Hamlet from himself be ta'en away, and when he's not himself does wrong Laertes, then Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Who does it then? His madness. If be so, Hamlet is of the faction that is wronged. His madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from a purposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts, that I have shot mine arrow o'er the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge. But in my terms of honor, I stand aloof, and will no reconcilement, till by some elder masters of known honor, I have a voice and president of peace to keep my name ungorged. But till that time, I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I do embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Give us the foils, come on.
Come, one for me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance, your skill shall, like a star into the darkest night, stick fiery off indeed.
You mock me, sir.
No, by this hand.
The foils, young Osric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager.
Very well, my lord. Your grace hath laid the odds of the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I've seen you both. But since he is bettered, we therefore have odds.
This is too heavy. Let me see another.
This likes me well, these foils of all the length.
Aye, my good lord.
Set me the stopes of wine upon that table. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, or quit in answer of the third exchange, let all the battlements their ordnance fire. The king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup and union he shall throw richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark crown have worn.
Here.
Give me the cups, and let the kettle to the trumpet speak. The trumpet to the cannoner without, the cannons to the heavens to earth. Now, the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin, and you, the judges, bear a wary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come on, sir.
What?
No.
Judgment?
A hit, a very palpable hit.
Well, again.
Hey, give me a drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Is to thy health. Give him the cup.
I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while. Come. Ha! Another hit. What say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Our son shall win.
He's fat and scant of breath. Oh, here's a napkin, rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Good madam.
Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord, I pray you pardon me.
Poisoned cup, it is too late.
Dare not drink it yet, madam, by and by.
Come, let me wipe thy face.
My lord, I'll hit him now.
Do not think.
It's almost against my conscience.
Come to the third, Laertes, you but dally. I pray you pass with your best violence. I am afeard you make a wanton of me.
Say you so? Come on.
Oh, nothing, neither way.
Have at you now.
Look, them, they're incensed.
They've changed rapiers.
Come again.
Oh, look to the queen there, ho!
They bleed on both sides.
How is Laertes?
Why, as a woodcock to mine own springe, Osric, I am justly killed with mine own treachery.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
Oh no, the trick. Oh my dear, the trick. I am poisoned.
Oh, villainy. How? Let the door be locked. Treachery, seek it out.
It is here, Hamlet. Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is not half an hour of life yet. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. The foul practice hath turned itself on me. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poisoned, I can no more. The king's to blame.
The point and venom too. Then venom to thy work.
Treason! Treason!
Defend me, friends, I am but hurt.
Here, thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane, drink off this potion. Is thy union here? Follow my mother.
He's justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. Dead, Horatio. Wretched queen, adieu. You that look pale and tremble at this chance that are but mutes or audience to this act. Had I but time, as this fell Sergeant Death is strict in his arrest. Oh, I could tell you, but let it be, Horatio. I'm dead. Thou livest. Report my cause right to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I am more an ant-like Roman than a Dane. Here's yet some liquor left.
As thou art a man, give me the cup. Let go. By heaven, I'll have it. Oh, good Horatio. What a wounded name. Things standing thus unknown shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world, draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
Enter Osric.
Young Fortinbras with conquest come from Poland to the ambassadors of England gives this warlike volley.
Oh, I die, Horatio. A potent poison quite o'ercrows my spirit. I cannot live to hear the news from England, but I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice. So tell him, with the occurrence more and less which have solicited, the rest is silence.
Now, crack a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. And the flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Why does the drum come hither?
Enter Fortinbras, an English ambassador with drum, color, and attendants.
Where is this sight?
What is it ye would see? If aught of woe or wonder, cease your search.
His quarry cries on havoc. O proud death! What feast is toward in thy eternal cell, that thou so many princes at a shoot so bloodily hath struck?
The sight is dismal, and our affairs from England come too late. The ears are senseless that should give us hearing to tell him his commandment is fulfilled, that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Where should we have our thanks?
Not from his mouth. Had it the ability of life to thank you, he never gave commandment for their death. But since so jumped upon this bloody question, you from the Polack wars and you from England are here arrived. Give order that these bodies high on a stage be placed to the view, and let me speak to the unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause, and in this upshot purposes mistook, fallen on the inventors' heads. All this can I truly deliver.
Let us haste to hear it, and call the nobles to the audience for me with sorrow. I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom. Why proclaim, my vantage doth invite me.
Of that I shall always cause to speak, and from his mouth whose voice will draw on more. But let this same be presently performed, even whilst men's minds are wild, lest more mischance on plots and errors happen.
Let 4 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage, for he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royally. And for his passage, the soldiers' music and the rites of war speak loudly for him. Take up the body. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go, bid the soldiers shoot.
Exeunt marching, after the which a peal of ordnance are shot off. Fini, well done. Excellent job. Thank you so much. Really.
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
This is a long play.
Yes, it is. I think we should do Nicholas Nickleby next week. Start at 2 in the afternoon.
Thank you all. You were wonderful. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for putting up with my nonsense. I appreciate it.
That's what
Thank
we put
you
up
all
with.
for such hard work. It was really great. Everybody's marvelous.
Yes.
Quite amazing, amazing, amazing. I sincerely appreciate it.
Likewise.
This is my first time hearing the whole play, too.
Oh, really?
I realize it is late.
I never even myself, so.
Good night, everybody. See you next fork in the road.
Thank you
Bye.
very much.
There's a
Hey, John
recording.
Peacock still here?
What?
Did John leave?
Huh?
John Peacock.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he had to leave.
He had to
report.
leave. It says he had to